2014 to 2017, let's say, were not really great movie watching periods of my life. Okay, so I'm getting caught up with all the Oscar noms, Oscar wins. So we watched La La Land tonight, and Sam had already seen it. First time for me to ever see it. Wow, what a great movie, an absolute masterpiece. It's kind of a nice juxtaposition because I think The Revenant was something that was, dare I say, overrated. This movie, La La Land, was the opposite. Very well deserved in its praise and its hype, if you will. Wow, what a great movie! I mean, technically the execution was unbelievable. The art direction, the use of color, the use of movement, the cinematography was stunning. Every shot was a picture. It was like every film school student's dream to make a movie like this, right? And it was so, it paid such a beautiful homage to it's just a nostalgic period in cinema history. And it's funny because just maybe a month or two ago we watched Singing in the Rain, which I hadn't seen in years, and I remember just really feeling like there's just not the movies aren't made like this anymore. With this kind of real attention to the beauty of the color and the movement and dancing and the style. And so this was that movie, right? I mean, it was a stunning representation of what made cinema so nostalgic for so many generations, and made cinema the beautiful art piece that we know it today. Without some of these movies, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s, we wouldn't have so much of the appreciation for what cinema is now. Most of what is digital movies is just trying to be sort of that generation. That being said, um, I have some issues with this movie, to be totally honest with you. But let me start with the things I liked about it. Like I said, the color was stunning. The use, I love there was a beautiful kind of call and response to the colors of red and blue throughout this movie. Every outfit, every painting on a wall, every color, everything was really uniquely thought out. All of the set pieces were gorgeous, and there was a stunning mix between where there were these kind of like, again, I'm going to use Singing in the Rain as a common comparison here, just because it's something that this movie calls to mind, having recently seen it, and in general, the kind of tap dancing, old style, romantic sense of those movies was played in certain scenes, but then there was a hard cut between this sort of like current reality. So, for example, they're talking on cell phones. It's set in modern day, but then they're walking around a sound stage, and all of the film equipment is something that you would see from the 1930s and 40s. Like it's all the lightings are old Fresnel lights. Nothing, you don't see that anymore, right? Because it's not there. So it was almost like a period piece that was clashing with something very modern. So it had a unique style of melding two I say generations, which they were. They're whole time periods of filmmaking. And then to sort of complement that was a story that was kind of clashing jazz, old style jazz, and the how jazz is dying with what modern music is now. And they use that as a platform to sort of highlight and tell the story about dreams and synthetic kind of, like this jazz musician who is wanting to become a jazz musician, but has to learn to make money by doing something that isn't jazz. That's this modern kind of like Frankenstein version of it. So, man, on a technical level, there's nothing that I can say bad about the movie, to be totally honest with you. But I think there are some glaring things that, and again, this is just all completely and stunningly my own opinion. This is my own take of the film, and is super packaged and harbored in some baggage, I guess that you can say that I have about media. I found it a little bit pandering. to be totally honest. It was a movie made for a mindset that there is no good in new and there is only beauty in the old. Now, I'm not going to claim that that was the vision or the take of the director, but as the audience member, there were certain key moments in the movie that left me feeling a little bit sour, and that's because of my own personal take. There's a moment specifically in the movie because the main character, Ryan Gosling's character, talks about how jazz is dying, and so he joins this band that is a jazz band, and they start integrating some modern music takes in it, and you know the line of like, you say that jazz is dying, but we have to make something that kids will listen to because kids aren't listening to jazz. And the sort of concept of the movie, from my take, is that that's a inherent bad thing, right? Because you'll never make something that's as good as old. And I have a personal issue with sort of like rockism, this idea that if it's new, it's bad, which is super heavy-handed in music. And I feel like this movie really supported that, which bothers me in a lot of like sort of contextual and artistic ways, because it's the same sort of thing of like classic people who love classic rock hate modern music just because it's not four guys in a band, or that they're not instruments, that they're production software and electric instruments and things like that. And I don't like that concept because without the rule breaking of art, especially in music, we would all still be listening to full ensemble big band, right? I mean, risk taking, the clash, the conflict of art comes from creating something that is different. And there is a sense of identity that people very importantly lay within art that they don't like to see change. People don't like to see change. As you get older, you don't like to see change, whether that's in, jobs or music or movies. And it's not an inherently bad feeling, but I just felt a little bit like this movie was sort of the fact that it won so many Oscars was very perfect, because it was a movie that was remaking something that I think a lot of traditional cinema lovers have been yearning for. But I don't think that inherently makes it a good, like the first good movie we've seen in generations. So, a fantastic movie. I think it's just a little bit pandering to a type of person that believes that the best movies were all made prior to the 1960s and 70s. So, and then the message that it was giving with the music of jazz and the idea of a dream and the idea of art and the idea of self-expression were kind of tied up into that. So that might be sort of a self-appointed prestige of an opinion, if that's a way to explain it. But great movie. So happy I saw it. It's a movie I'll be thinking about for a long time. I was saying that it's a little bit coincidental that the last movie that I felt so passionately about the use of color and art direction was also a movie with Emma Stone in it, which was Poor Things. I think that's an unbelievably stunning movie. So yeah, really good, but it was really technically good. I think the story was just sort of like an average love story, in my opinion. I don't think it necessarily, from that perspective, I don't think it brought anything new. But yeah, I don't want to come off like I'm hating it. There's no way I can talk about it without being critical of the fact that I think it just was pandering. I think it was pandering to it gave very, and I said this before, I was like, it gave very, I was born in the wrong generation energy, which I think is, in my opinion, kind of an inherently closed-minded way of looking at art and communication and creation and creativity. So definitely see it if you haven't. I'm sure everyone here has seen it. And again, I was just happy to watch a movie, unlike The Revenant, again, my opinion, was very deserving of all the praise. And I'm very happy that it won all those Oscars. Yeah, yeah. I mean, fantastic, stunning. And I also need to do a lot of. It's a movie that the accomplishment was in the process and not necessarily the product, because of just I have so many questions about the production of it. So, anyways, okay. Good night.